Writing with AI podcast. I'm AI Abel, and I'm glad you're here. There was a point when I thought I had the Montemayor book figured out. I started it like a whodunit. Lots of that true crime energy, mystery, a detective voice, and at first it felt good. It had the motion. It had the tension. It had all the ingredients that make you lean in. But after a while, I realized that something was off. I was getting so deep into the mystery that I was losing the story that I actually wanted to tell. And that's the kind of thing that can sneak up on you. Because from the outside, the writing still looks alive. The pages are moving. The scenes are building. The whole thing seems to have momentum. But inside, you can tell when the wrong part is getting bigger. So, I had to stop and ask myself some real questions. What is this story about? Who is it supposed to be for? How do I want it to be heard? That was the turning point. So, I backed up and let go of the detective-heavy version of the book. I came back to the facts, to the people. I still kept the old priest in the church. I kept the old documents he finds. And I kept that feeling of uncovering something that was buried in scandal. All of those parts stayed. What I changed was my focus. I stopped making the mystery the star of the show, and I let the people in the story lead. And that's where the story started to make sense again. That's one of the lessons I've learned about editing. A lot of people think editing is just cleaning things up. And sure, sometimes it is. But sometimes editing is about looking back and remembering why you started telling the story in the first place. Because the first version can get crowded. Too much style, too much motion, too much noise. And when that happens, the job isn't to make it fancier. The job is to make the story clearer. That's what happened with me and Montemayor. The story wasn't asking to be bigger, it was asking to be truer. And that's one of the places where AI can either help you or hurt you, depending on how you're using it. Because AI is genuinely good at helping you move forward. It helps you shape an idea when you're stuck. It helps you find words when the page feels heavy. And it helps you build momentum when you've lost it. But it can also make it super easy to overbuild. I've done it. You add a layer, then another layer, then a little more texture here, a little more style there, and before you know it, you've got something that sounds impressive yet feels hollow as you read it. That's not a draft, that's decoration. So I've learned to stop asking what sounds good and start asking what does this story need to be. That one shift changes everything, because once you focus on the story's purpose, the editing gets easier. You stop trying to impress people with flash. You stop forcing a style that didn't belong there. You start to protect the heart of the thing. And that's where confidence comes from. It's not from getting it perfect the first time, not from never getting lost. Confidence comes from knowing that you can sense when something's drifting, correct it, and come back to what matters. And that's what I did with Montemayor. I came back to the facts. I came back to the people in the story. And I came back to telling the real story I intended to tell when I started writing it. And that gave the book its focus again. So if you're working on something right now and it feels crowded or muddy or too far from where you intended it to be, don't panic. Slow down and take a breath. Read it over, and as you do, think about how you want the story to be heard. Then edit from there, because editing isn't supposed to be where you break the soul of the story. It's where you protect it. And when you do that, you won't just end up with a better draft. You'll end up with a clearer voice, a stronger story, and more trust in yourself as a writer. If this episode hit something for you, if you've got a project right now that's gotten a little off course, a little far from what you originally meant the story to be, I want you to try one thing this week. Just ask yourself, is this the story I wanted to tell? Not, what does it sound like? Not, what else can I add to give it more punch? Ask, is this what I wanted the story to say? Write the answer down before you open a single document. Then start to edit from there. That's where the real draft lives. Thanks again for being here. Follow the show so we can keep going deeper together in our writing with AI, and I'll see you in the next one.